Okay, my camera fell down. That was fantastic. Hey guys, welcome back to Overtakes. This is Misfit.
And I'm Kel.
And we're going to talk some Stage 3 Week 1 stuff going on. Hope you guys are having a good week. We're on a little bit earlier this week because real life sometimes has to take over and you have to get up in the morning.
Right. Yeah, I got a very early morning, so starting it a little... But, hey, the game's just ended, so figured... Why not?
Let's
just jump
man.
into this.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't have to work in the morning, I'd totally be down to do this right now.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good match. I mean, people are catching up. We'll talk. We're going to talk a little meta. We got some things we're going to talk about. So just to bring it out right now. Okay, so we're going to change kind of our format a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And by change, we're going to dive back into what we used to do last year more, where we talked about matches and guys and players and what they're doing and teams. We're trying to, and give us input, too, because we want your input. We're kind of going to back away a little bit from the power rankings because, well, it's really
Everyone is doing it.
Yeah, everyone's doing it. I mean, we have a lot to say about these teams anyway, and to be brutally honest, you have two really dominant teams and a bunch of teams that are actually we're talking about in a different light than trying to place them at 9 when they could be anywhere from 9 to 15. I mean, it's fun. I mean, we like doing it. So if you guys like it, maybe we'll incorporate it in some way, but we're going to do it.
I think we want to start focusing more on individual players and individual teams and just kind of like talking about the teams that intrigue us and the fun things they did this week, the stupid things they did, like just kind of going back more to that style and being like a little less rigid, but a little more rigid in another way. So if you guys have any feedback for us, let us know. Tell us what you want to hear us talk about, basically.
Yeah. Well, what style? Because, I mean, we're going to talk.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to go on and on for, about things. So, we're going to talk about it in some way, shape, or form. We just thought it would be cool to do the power ranking things. Everybody's kind of doing them. And from my point of view, I like doing it. I think it's fun. Mm-hmm. But I think it's getting a little stale in that you don't have any movement in the top. There's two and the bottom too. The bottom is like solidified 3 teams, maybe 4.
Pretty much. And then everything in between is just a jumbled mess that changes
from day to day.
Yeah, day to day. Like not even week to week, like literally day to day. It is a completely different thing. So first thing we're going to dive into this week is going to be the slight meta change we've had.
Yeah.
This is probably the first time that we have not seen, or like pretty much this whole season, the least amount of straight goats we've seen.
Yeah, which is great.
Oh, absolutely.
And the one thing that I have been screaming about, and you know this, is, God damn it, the best counter is Sombra. Super, if you're watching, she's the best counter to your hero that swings a hammer. By the way.
Sorry, Super.
But
he's right.
Anyway, and the team that's actually right now running it the best, and we'll get into more in a second, is Shanghai. Shanghai's got this down.
Yeah, Shanghai's running a really nice Sombra Goats.
Yeah, it helps to have a really good Sombra player.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things that's kind of like goats, regular goats. Like, you can try it. If your players can't play the characters, it's dumb to keep doing it. But anyway, that's a whole other thing.
Right, it's really not going to do you much good. But, I'd say Shanghai's running it really, really well.
And the SBB sighting. Revealing a new hero. Playing Sombra. The thing with...
That was cool to see. I think Atlanta's not really running it, but they had other problems, and they seem to have fixed that, too.
Yeah.
We're going to dive a little more into them later.
Yeah.
But some of the other teams, I think Seoul ran it really nicely this week.
Yeah. And they ran it good before, in the first stage, when they were fucking around with it.
So I think they should definitely stick with it.
But we're also seeing a lot of... What's
The
that?
team that should probably give up on it is Boston.
Oof.
Oof.
Boston had a bad week.
Yeah, they did. We'll get more into them later too.
Yeah. Not a bad week as Oakland's having, but anyway.
Yeah, right?
Bitch City.
Yes.
Anyway, so that aside, the other thing, a lot of people, obviously we're getting more bunker. I mean, we have the maps for these kind of things to work too. So,
Right.
I mean, when you have Ilios in there, you have Paris, you have that kind of stuff going on. You're going to get some bunker, which I can't stand. But there's some teams running good counters too. You're getting a lot of Far Mercy. You're getting some other stuff going on. But some teams are just, straight goating it too. And
Yeah.
it's like they have.
But I think this was the most variety we saw.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, especially with like that Gladiators Vancouver match. There was, especially on Paris, specifically, there was some bunker, anti-bunker, and there was some. There's a lot of Anna played. So it was nice to see just some variety
different stuff
popping up.
And it's kind of like last year too, when you had Dive evolving into different things. Yeah, the first stage we had straight Genji Tracer Diva Winston Dive.
Mm-hmm.
But then, as things changed up a little bit, with hero changes and whatnot, balance patches that got put in, but we don't do that now.
Right. Why would we do that? That's ridiculous.
Not that they would really make that much of a difference, but that's beside the point. It's evolving into different things. Yeah, it's 3-3, kind of. 3-3. Now it's 3-2-1. You know what I mean? At times, there's just a lot of different variations that it's kind of making it more fun.
Yeah, it's cool to see. I'm happy that some of that is happening.
And people are actually...
Hopefully it sustains. That's the one problem, because I feel like the same thing happened at the start of the last stage. And by week 2 or 3, it was just straight goats on both sides, like very little switching, minus like a few maps here and there. So I'm hoping that this is kind of a shift in the other way. And if it ends up being like a cross of either bunker or goats, I guess we'll just have to deal with it. And that's right. At least it's something that's a little different. And I think a full bunker comp would be horrible. Right. It would definitely be worse than full goats, but
right. It's a little
getting the
something
variety
different.
of both. I'm cool with that.
All right. I will concede I can do both.
Yes.
A little bit of something different. That's fine. But the interesting thing, well, it's not interesting. It's the eventual thing of metas evolving, much like in any other sport, like football or basketball or baseball or whatever, soccer, is the good coaches are the ones evolving the meta.
Yep.
And some of them don't have to. There are the Bill Parcells coaches out there that run and play defense. Yeah. In other words, Vancouver playing goats. They don't have to change. This is their MO. But even they have run some different stuff. And like San Francisco ran a little bit of Sombra kind of things going in there. It's amazing that it's taken... I don't know, Super must be like losing his mind. Maybe they should make him play Sombra.
Yeah, right.
You know
my
what?
God, that'd be hilarious.
Can we do that next All-Star game? Can we have Supra...
Super play Sombra?
Super play like a 1v1 against Bren on Sombra.
Oh my God. Hell yeah.
1v1
that
elimination.
Needs to happen.
But the good coaches evolve the meta. They figure out how to beat the other things, whether it's... And you're going to run certain things that... Obviously, there's times when you have to run goats. And even before, I mean, there was times when that kind of thing... I think we even talked about it last year. Like, why don't people run 3 tanks and extra supports in some of these maps? I mean, I remember specifically talking about Horizon when they were running the Slambulance. Going, why don't other teams do this?
Right.
And someone came up with that, and someone's figured out how to beat it, but now it's like kind of like meta, whatever. But I just like how coaches...
that was the very beginnings of goats.
Yeah.
All right, so the other big thing we wanted to talk about was the leak that happened this week about a potential Overwatch 2 or Overwatch expansion, what have you.
Because it's relevant.
It is.
We all play Overwatch. Let's just, I mean, that's why we're here.
So from what it's looking like, it's going to be... They're saying Overwatch 2, but it's looking more like an expansion to me, or at least a full single, or not single player, but PvE mode.
I would call it,
it's going to be more of a like a group of 4 doing certain missions, that kind of thing.
I would even go, maybe they go, because it is Activision and stuff like that, and they worked with Bungie and things. Maybe it's going to be like a Destiny 2 kind of thing. In the Overwatch universe. I mean, first-person shooter, mission-based, things going on. Or, I don't think it's going to be anything PvE.
I think it's going to be...
There might be PvE zones in it, but...
I think it's going to be more of, like, because from what it said, it's the several people inside of Blizzard have compared the upcoming game to Left 4 Dead. So I'm thinking it's going to be basically a full game of the... PvE events that we've gotten.
Right. And not just little bit things on maps.
Right. It's going to be, like, my guess would be they would take all the existing maps and give you the story of, like, why they're in the game.
Right.
And then, like, they could potentially do that to any new maps that come out. They'd probably have like 2 separate teams working on those things. Like one team designs the map, the other team designs like a whole event around that.
And I think you would almost have to have 2 separate teams, like Overwatch, not generic, but the classic Overwatch, and your whatever you're calling the expansion, because you're two different types of games.
And that's what kind of makes things a little bit more interesting, is because there was the StarCraft 2 game, or the StarCraft shooter that got canceled, but all of those developers got moved to the existing game.
And Diablo,
or to Overwatch
and Diablo
2 or
4.
Diablo 4. Yeah.
Which pretty much Blizzard is going to get people back by releasing these 2 things. I mean, and a lot of guys have talked about it. Look, it's stale right now. It's not stale. I love playing Overwatch. We played the last couple nights and we were having a blast. But you're getting loot boxes and it's like, I don't care about sprays and crap. You know what I mean?
That was a major source of revenue for the first couple of years, but it's just like at this point, there's really not all that much. And it's just like if you release a sequel / expansion pack or however you package it, that's that much more revenue that you can make for new stuff that people have to buy
and buy the game or the expansion.
Exactly. There's the full expansion, then you've got whatever things they add to that. I'm sure that would also introduce new heroes. Like there's a lot that they could bring in with that. So I think it's it's going to be an interesting year. That based also coinciding with the little teasers that Jeff has been giving on people's streams and all of that. So I think we're in for some pretty awesome stuff coming for Overwatch and Overwatch League, because I mean that's going to be the other thing, is like, how do these things affect the league? Well, if they introduce a bunch of new heroes,
yeah, exactly,
that's going to shake up the meta too.
I really would like to see them do that too. Like, so you launch this new game, and well, first off, I'm a lore freak, you know that.
Oh yeah.
So this sews that up.
Right.
All that stuff, because you can't do it in a PvP game. I mean, like, I think Stylosa was saying, it's like you're in a match and it's Reinhardt versus Reinhardt and Tracer versus Tracer. That makes no sense as far as lore, you know? But, like, it's going to expand that. And when they drop that, if they even do what they did like the beginning, I'm not saying, what was it, 24 heroes to start? 22? 20?
Yeah.
I forgot. Drop like 6-8 heroes. Bam! Just
be huge. Well, I think also...
And no DPS, just all tanks and supports?
Yes, is that this would be the time when they would make multiplayer for Overwatch, free to play.
Oh yeah,
And
without a
then
doubt.
you drop that thing, and you get like bonuses in the game and all of that.
And do all of the classic Blizzard things like they used to do with Heroes of the Storm. Like you have the Diva event, and you go into you can get the Diva cop skin if you play Overwatch, or you play Heroes of the Storm and the Genji one, or like all
I'm
that
sure
kind
there
of
will
stuff.
be some kind of crossover if they release Diablo 4 around the same time.
Yeah, and plus, also with the drop of that, there's things like they could just drop, because they're not really in the game. Instead of dropping Overwatch heroes, drop 5 or 6 Talon heroes.
Yeah.
Like all the bad guys, everyone's like, oh, this guy's in the comic, why can't we see him? Just drop all of them.
Yes.
And then
there's a lot of really cool things that I would love to see. We could talk endlessly about most of this.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's the big news. Lots of speculation and really nothing confirmed, but that's really all there was as far as news for this week.
Yeah.
So one thing we're going to do differently today is we're going to go back into, instead of just going over every game that happened, we're going to go over the top team, or the top performances and teams of this week, and then the worst performances of the week.
Whatever
overall.
you guys want to call it.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, studs or duds, or
You got the dud.
You got the dud. Hey, it looks like you, Poindexter. Simpsons. We haven't done one in a while. We haven't had a Simpsons reference in a while.
We haven't.
No. And he's already dead doesn't count.
No. Yeah. So let's dive into our top teams / players or whoever, or our top performance this week. Number 1, Danye and Paris. This team looked completely different, and they crushed.
And we were slamming them.
Yes.
Were they weren't exciting like they were still kind of boring. But Danye was, especially today, he was absolutely fucking mashing on Zarya, and then he had on Paris. He was playing Bastion, I think, on point B, and he just went absolutely fucking ham and just killed everybody. Like he got into tank mode and just went nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was really impressive. A really impressive performance from him. I think they finally kind of figured out who their Zarya / carry needs to be.
Yeah, and he's fantastic. He's a fantastic DPS player, but you're never going to see it. But
he has the flexibility to do that, and he's much better than what they had in Soon and Shadowrun, and what they were giving out.
And you know what? Sometimes it's one of those things. It's like, we got Soon and Shadowburn. New York has Pine and up until this week they have Flower and CBOB sitting on the bench.
Right.
Stryker sitting on the bench in San Francisco. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Sorry, guys. We need someone that grasps the Zarya thing right now. It's just the way it is. But
yeah, so I think Danye looked excellent, and just in general, I think it really changed things for Paris. In overall, they just looked like a brand new team.
Yeah, and Gray, they've been putting Gray in. They started putting him in a little bit more at the end of last stage. This is working out. Gray
is their flex support. You're getting continued consistently good performances from Cruz.
Yeah.
Ben Best has been far better on tank than
Cloudy. I thought Cloudy was going to be the man.
Oh yeah. I think they can. Honestly, this is probably one of the best performances we've seen from Ben Best.
Yeah, because Finzy's decent enough.
Yeah,
he's not setting the world on fire, but
yeah.
I think maybe
solid performances from the other players and Nico and all of that as well.
And I really think that I don't want to say underestimated them, but I don't know what's going on in Boston.
Yeah,
they seem a little. They just didn't seem right. And
they're not.
And let's be honest, and just real quick, on Toronto, the new tank line looked decent, But
They did.
like we've been saying, you're incorporating a whole new element in. You're going to lose a couple games to start.
Yeah,
Like I know
and
look,
it looked as rough as we should have expected, honestly, because I mean that's a huge change that they're making. They're
Yeah.
changing both their main tank and their off tank. Like that's
and they
a
look
massive
decent.
thing to overhaul.
I mean,
Yeah, they look good for it being their first game. There was
Yeah.
definitely points where Gods looked really really good. Same with I'm
Sherrick.
blanking on his name. Yeah, Sherrick. Shriek.
They were doing the same thing we were. I think it was
Yeah.
Hex and Semler were doing the same thing. He's like, "What?" Then someone was like, "Just call him Shriek." But
Pretty much.
here's the thing. I know everybody got excited. The guy's a good player. Gods. I'm an Envy fanboy. He fucking did the 3-kill thing like 9 million times to save man. Calm the fuck down. It's a 3-kill with Diva. I know it was his first time on stage, so I'll give him that.
Right.
Nerves and all that. But Envy's been doing that all goddamn year.
He really has.
I don't know. Maybe they'll trade him to my team and I'll be happy. I will buy the jersey I'll buy the jersey in 5 seconds if he goes to the Mayhem.
I do think that that's a move that the Mayhem should make.
Unless him and Fate hate each other.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But they just had such good chemistry with each
Yeah.
other, honestly. But who knows? Who knows what's going on with
Yeah,
that? Because,
well,
I mean, now that Fate's gone, like, that just raises even more questions into what happened there.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right,
But
yeah, let's move on to...
I mean, I just wanted to throw that in about Toronto. Because we
for sure.
really didn't have a plan on talking about what went on with them. But they look good. They were okay. They lost.
Yeah, for sure. All of their positive energy is going to their NBA team at the moment.
Yeah. Which is fantastic. I'll
take that all day.
So will I. Go Raptors.
So let's move on to our other top player. We had Gamsu and Shanghai.
Yeah.
This team just looked damn good.
Yeah, they do. And
they just, like we've been saying, they just continue to get better and better every week. I mean,
yeah,
it was the Valiant, but then again, the Valiant, like,
the
they
Valiant
have a new
revamped,
look
but
as well. But I think the Valiant are going to be a better team and a sneaky good team.
yeah, they're one of those weird teams in that middle lower tier table thing that they're changing things, but they're not changing them psychotically. Well, I guess they did. They changed tanks, but they didn't look terrible.
Right. I think one thing they still need to work on is the fact that they did give up that last point and they got first held on Gibraltar. I think that's something of a concern. Just because if you want to be an elite team, basically, if like you can't let off the gas going into that final map. And that's one of the common things that those mid-tier teams do, and that's what separates the elite teams from the mid-tier.
Yeah, and in the spot that they're in, they need every fucking map.
Yes.
And I don't...
Absolutely.
And it's... You can go into they're not used to that. Well, they didn't play there last year, so it has nothing to do with them. Gamsu, of all people, should know this.
Yes.
Playing with Boston last year.
My God. But yeah, Gamsu looked fan-freaking-tastic in this match.
Yeah. He's so underrated, man.
He really is.
And
I mean, we were one of the few that said it, that, like...
And we were big fans last year.
Picking him up was a huge pickup for this team. And it is really starting to pay dividends for them.
Because he's a shot caller, he's a smart player.
Yes.
Fissure's great, but he's that individual great.
Yes.
Gamsu has got the team thing down, and also the way he plays, he plays aggressive. He does not play stupid aggressive. And he kind of it took him a week to figure out how everybody else plays, and they kind of all work together, whatever. But he is fantastic at just adapting. Like, even when he was with Boston, he adapted to the different play styles that they were doing. Like, whether it was when they had mistakes in there, or they had the idiot that shouldn't be named, or whatever his name.
Oh, DK.
DK. pervert. Yeah, but and then when the metas changed and stuff, like he played, he played more Rhine, and I know everybody last year was knocking his Rhine. I kind of didn't.
His Rhine is significantly better now, but it wasn't really that bad to begin with.
Well, it's one of those things.
I think they just had a hard time
adapting to playing with Rhine.
Yeah,
because they were
more so than him.
They so set themselves up for dive last year that it was when you had to switch out into a comp where you're not using Winston Diva, it was weird. But with Shanghai, I mean, and they're running the Sombra Goats thing better than anybody else, hands down. I don't care what anyone says.
For sure, because my God, Ding is a monster on Sombra.
Yeah, he builds. Well, these guys in general, they build EMPs in like a minute.
Yeah,
and the weird thing is you don't even see them doing the regular hacks. Like,
right?
I can't wait for that replay thing. I want to watch when that drops. Hopefully, Tuesday, which it seems like because there's all kinds of shit on BattleNet with an update on Tuesday morning or whatever.
It's looking like it's going to be that day.
But I still want to start watching Sombra player because I play Sombra and I played her a lot back. And actually, I was using her in comp to counter stupid dive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was. I was using her and then like when you were on the maps like where you used a Reinhardt, just hacking the Rhine. But I was like, hack the Zen, fuck that.
Right.
But like these guys, I just don't ever see them do a regular hack. But that's beside the point. But Ding is amazing.
They do it, and you really don't see it as much. Yeah. But like just watching the first point, there's a few clutch ones where he hacks the Rhine as they're in the grab, and it and it helps them finish them off. Like just little things like that, just really go far. Like they go super far. Yeah. And then like there was a point where like Gamsu sacrificed himself to win the team fight, basically.
Yeah.
And it's moments like that just show how far this team has come.
Yeah, and they will run a DPS comp too and murder you.
Oh yeah.
So it's one of those things that's like they can run the Sombra Goats and they can run regular Goats okay, better than a lot of teams.
Like, watch out! They still got DM. They got
Ding, DM, and this team can run whatever. They're scary.
And Youngjin's a solid projectile player as well.
I mean, they have a lot of guys, and you still have DM on the bench, who's also a solid hit scan.
Yeah, well, no,
Dia.
Yeah.
Too many Dia. I knew I was going to do that. I said that before the season started. I knew I was going to fuck it up at least once.
Right.
But, I mean, you got guys that can play. So, like, if you need to run any of those kind of weird comps or anything like that, you can just put those guys in. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, they were good this week. Yeah, it was the Valiant, but the Valiant aren't as terrible, I think, as everybody wants them to be.
No, actually, I think Fact Fiction has fit
I thought
really
he was
well
great
with this team. I think he played really well, and he's a really good tank. He just couldn't get ahead of Muma on the depth chart. That's really what it is.
And for some, and he was. See now, all right. I'm gonna Mayhem tangent here. See, now the Mayhem are just dumb. All right, you want to go all Korean? They could have had a great Western roster that could have been at least mid-table.
Right.
Fact Fiction, McGravy, Apply. Maybe keep Tavik. And I don't know. It just bothers me.
They could have been really good, but they're
decent enough. Better than one in whatever.
Right.
1 in
better
300.
Than what they are now, which isn't a high bar.
Yeah. And well, to them later, or some other day with that.
Yeah. We'll have plenty of times to rip on Florida. Let's move on to the Gladiators and Big Goose and Shaz. Because, man, these guys seriously do not get enough credit for everything that they do in this league, in this game. Like, they are so freaking good, and they're just criminally underrated.
They are.
Because they just play off of each other so well. Like, their chemistry with the two of those, or with those two, is off the charts.
And their chemistry with the team on the whole is really good.
It really is.
And the thing is they're underrated from the fact that I think everybody's looking at like some of the stats. Like you're looking for the frag stats with Zen, but Shaz does so much more than that. He is he's a complete Zen. Yeah, he can frag the fuck out of stuff, but he doesn't blow trance that often. I can rarely remember. Plus, he can switch on anything.
Yeah, his hero pool is absurd. His Ana is incredible. His really anything that he switches to, he's ridiculously good. Like those times when they'll run the cheese comp and he plays Bastion, like
or May or whatever.
There's so many different things he can do, and it just never ceases to amaze me. And then Big Goose is just proving why he's one of the best Lucios in the world.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were giving him shit, and us included last year, but he had to play fucking Mercy. It was worse than Brig Jail for these guys.
Right.
Well,
sure.
Some of them. I mean, some of these guys have embraced running Brig, and you can tell which ones do. You know, like kind of like guys like Ark that are like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to be one of the best Mercies in the league. Screw it.
Yeah.
This is what I got to do. I'm going to do it right.
And even then, Big Goose was still a really good Mercy.
It's just at times he had like, when you're used to playing a different hero and you're going into, even if you start playing them, it's the alt timing, especially with Mercy when he was playing her with that fucking ridiculous whatever her ultimate.
Oh yeah, when her
the
when
one
they, like first changed it to it was insane.
You actually had to think a lot more, like
right.
Well, and also you could play stupid if you were on the team and you had a Mercy. Right. Because they had there's a point where they had 3 reses in a row. But that aside,
with the Gladiators in general, they looked excellent against the Fuel. Something that made me very happy is the fact that they did 4-0 and they never took their foot off the gas, and that shows to me that they're fine. They took a step forward with that. They still couldn't beat the Titans today. But I think that they're slowly
creeping up.
Yeah.
The gap between the 1 and 2 and the rest are starting to creep up. I guess. How's this? The gap between 1 and 2 and I don't know how to. Basically,
the gap between 2 and 3, 1 and 2 are
where they are,
and then 2 and 3.
People are creeping up on New York.
That gap is getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, there you go. Worded way better.
But yeah, and honestly, the gap between 3 and 4, which the Gladiators I would say are at 4, I think they're creeping up on New York really quick. I think they're neck and neck with New York at this point.
New York looked pretty solid this week, though. I gotta say.
They did. Yeah. But let's move on to our last one. Surprise team of the week, and just a fantastic performance overall. Baby Bay and Atlanta.
Yeah. The best 0-2 week that any team will ever have, really.
Right?
They looked solid.
I mean, to hold their own against the 2 best teams in the league.
I mean, look at their last 4 games, though. Can we go over that? They played New York twice, beat them, and then they played San Francisco, took them to 5, and then they played Vancouver.
And it was they
were close.
It was a close. It was close up until pretty much the last map when San Francisco really put it to them. But I mean, the fact that they forced a game 5, or a map 5, they almost held out on Gibraltar as well. They looked really good on there.
Yeah.
This team continues to show that you cannot sleep on them, and they're getting better and better every week.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't get a hard hold on Gibraltar with how well Vancouver plays Gibraltar. They did get first held on Hollywood because that's the other one that.
But how many times does Vancouver do that, though?
Literally every team in the league.
Yeah.
They have done that at least once.
They get more full holds on escort and hybrid maps than any team I've ever seen. Man, it's ridiculous.
absolutely
And that
absurd.
puts you in a panic mode.
Right.
And, well,
You're
it
like,
makes
oh,
it
God,
easier for themselves,
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
Well, if they...
Yeah, because it puts all the pressure on them.
Yeah. But, yeah, Atlanta, and, you know, I'm glad Baby Bay's doing good, too. Because he was the OG, like, in this league. He was, like, the prodigy.
Yeah.
When they came in, it was like, oh, Baby Bay. Like, you know, with then he had the thing with this thing, whatever it was, the fucking arm, that
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
That goofy ass picture that actually made millions for charity or whatever the hell it did.
Yeah.
But
oh, man.
the bro shot.
Yeah.
But people forget how good he was, like, before the league started. I say this every week. But he is becoming... He had a couple of weird grabs. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that is definitely something he's got to work on, is his ult economy.
But Sinatra did the same thing. Sinatra had some goofy ones in that first match.
He really did. But yeah, he's gotten better, and he's helped this team stay afloat. And then also, as much as Baby Bay has helped this team, I think the biggest turning point is getting Daco back full time.
Yeah.
Because holy crap, that dude makes such a huge difference for this team.
Oh, yeah.
And he really is...
He's one of the...
He is the heart of this team.
Yeah, he's like the underrated diva in the league.
Yeah. He just makes plays. The amount of grabs he was eating, just plays he was making in general, like, he was right on it.
Yeah, and he can play any style of diva too. That's the thing I like about Daco. He can do the aggressive kind of dive thing, but his head's like on a swivel. He knows, he kind of is. I don't know if he's their economy kind of shot caller dude, but he knows where everybody's. I always have the feeling, like, when I'm watching them, he knows where everybody's at on their ultimates.
Yes.
Especially the Zarya. Like, he is, like, spot on the Zarya. I mean, he's not, like, on Choi Hyobin level, but
right.
Choi Hyobin is...
he's right up there.
Choi Hyobin just eats grass for every meal of his day.
Yeah, like, not even just breakfast. Like, it's like every meal he eats. He's like freaking Pac-Man over there.
Yeah.
So there were some other things that we considered really good this week. There was some... they introduced the jerseys, the alternate jerseys, and there are some really, really awesome ones. And one of my favorites was Paris.
Yeah, that blackout Paris one was cool. Obviously, to quote Sideshow, the Mayhem have upped their jersey game, but their regular game not so much. I love that Mayhem jersey. And you know how I was like, oh, the pink and the blue. But I love that neon blue thing. I just wish they had a custom thing, because I'm not going to put one of their players on my back right now.
Yeah,
I'm not like you guys.
If they're going to be on the roster much longer.
Well, I'm not like you guys in Cleveland that will wear like
a Trent Dilfer jersey or
and like with a badge of honor. Like, motherfucker, I have a goddamn Trent Richardson jersey.
Edwards jersey.
Braylon Edwards, there you go.
Or a Greg Little jersey.
Yeah. Woof. Yeah. But yeah, I like that one. Honestly, one of my other favorite ones, I love the Spark one too. The Spark one was like, because I'm a NASCAR fan, I was like, man, that is like a fucking stock car right there, man. That thing is great.
The Spark one is pretty awesome. I really like the Gladiators one.
That one was dope.
Really awesome.
And you have to look at it.
Yeah.
You have to dive.
The little details on it are really cool.
It's like they want to incorporate the culture of Los Angeles in there. So, like, if you look in there, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's brocaded or it's like in there, it's like a lot of like Mexican, like kind of that Day of the Dead kind of art stuff, like in the lion or whatever they call it, Chamara thing. They have a name for it. I don't pay attention to that. Should we talk about duds in the Jersey land?
Yes. So in our chat, the Outlaws ripoff of the 70s Astros is nice.
I'm gonna go with no.
When I first saw it, I immediately hated it. I think it looks a little better in person.
Fuck that.
But man, it's still not good. I never liked those Astros jerseys either. Ugh.
I had to, you know what? All right, I'm old. I had to fucking wear that jersey in Little League, dude. We were the Knights of Columbus Astros. I had to fucking wear that tie box motherfucker. I hate that jersey. So maybe I'm just being a dick. I fucking hate that
actually,
thing.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that. Remember when Chris Sale lost his mind on the jerseys that the White Sox had to wear?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Cut them up with scissors. That's what I think of when I see those.
The Outlaws one's not that bad.
It's not that bad,
No.
but
but
it gives me that vibe of like the brightly colored stripes and all of that.
Yeah. The Toronto one was weird, man.
Oh god, the Toronto one is just not good.
It's weird. I didn't know what the fuck was going on with that thing. Maybe that falls into my old man thing. That's weird. And then the Fusion wanted to be referees.
Yeah, the Fusion one's not good.
It's not that it was terrible. It was just kind of, okay. And then there's a couple of them that are just fucking wacko. And then I don't understand why, like, Seoul, the Charge, and Shanghai didn't do an alt jersey.
Yeah. That was really strange.
Yeah.
One that I did like was the NYXL one.
Yeah, that one was dope with the...
Yeah, the Fusion
I do agree
one
with that. I do agree with there's a lot of black on grayscale. I'm a metalhead, though. I have a lot of T-shirts that are already like that, so I kind of fucking gravitate towards that. I like the Fuel one, but yeah, there was a lot of, like, they just kind of like, oh, hey, look, you did that. Let's do that too.
Exactly.
But the Mayhem one was my favorite, but I'm biased.
Oh, can we talk about the Peach Atlanta Rain?
I get it.
I get it, but really, guys? Like, there's part of it that are cool, but like you just got like the peach right over your boob, or like right over, like it just looks so weird.
It wasn't terrible.
I was not a big fan of that.
I actually liked. I liked it more than probably most people did. I don't know why. I didn't think that one was terrible.
At first, I didn't like the Spitfire one, and then I saw like why it was that one.
Yeah. I didn't like the London one. I agree. I wasn't.
The only reason I kind of like it is because apparently those Spitfires, they actually did paint them pink. During World War II.
All right, I'll give them that.
I think that's kind of cool, but it's still just not a great look in general. It's like if they could have, I don't know. I feel like there's a better way they could have done that.
Yeah. Look. Oops, sorry. Somehow my phone's on mute. I just got a headshot. Even though I don't play Widowmaker.
Yeah, right.
But the jerseys were cool. I mean, they were fun. I hope they have a. See, now I might have bought a Fate one, but the laughable thing is like with the Mayhem one is they have fucking Apply McGravy.
Yeah.
I'm like, and Tavik.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I understand
guys,
that they probably.
Can I also buy a swoosh and?
Oh yeah, dude, I would do a swoosh one. Can I get a Logix?
Zupe?
No, Logix or swoosh. If I can do that, give me that.
Yeah, those would actually be pretty sweet.
Even though swoosh wasn't the greatest, I just liked him. I thought he was awesome.
Oh, swoosh was awesome. He was one of my favorite players in the league.
He wasn't as bad as everyone thought, but that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump into some of the other things that disappointed us this weekend.
Yeah.
And the big one this week was Philly and Sato.
Woof. That was.
Oh boy.
That was brutal.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened with this team, but they just got rolled, and Sato especially just fed his brains out.
Yeah, and he's not even looking good on Winston right now.
No.
Because they look decent enough on Winston Goats. I don't know what's going on, if it's... I don't know if the support...
I can't tell if it's a mental thing, or...
I don't know if he's getting... Is he getting any kind of... is he getting any help? I mean, their supports seem weird, man. As good as Boombox and Neptuno were last year, they don't seem as good in this meta.
They're not performing up to what they need to, but it's hard to tell if that's, like, I don't know. He's not getting the proper support from Carpe either. I don't know if
that's the thing.
Breaking down with EQO, like Poco's really been the only consistently good player for this team, and he's the one that's keeping them in it to a point. But there's only so much one guy can do.
They got absolutely fucking steamrolled by fucking the Spark, man.
Yeah, they did.
And Sato, he hasn't looked good. And, I'm going to scream for the Viking like everybody else, but they're not going to put him in.
Right.
I mean...
It's unfortunately, I don't think they are, because I would love to see Fraggy in there, but is it really going to help anything either? Because then you're just getting an even more hyper-aggressive Reinhardt.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's a guy that could give Bumper a fucking run.
Yeah, right.
Put him again.
He just needs a team to keep him alive.
That's only on Winston.
Yeah.
I don't... And it falls into that whole, do you want to make the switch when you're that high up in the standings-ish?
Right.
Yes, I agree totally. Trenchfoot, he does not... He's kind of soft throwing on Zarya, it feels like. Carpe.
Yeah. He has not
totally
really
down with
done
that.
anything to get better at Zarya, and he seems to be getting worse every week. Like, he was talking all this smack at the beginning of the season when Dufran was playing.
That he was going to...
They were playing against Dufran, and, like, literally, I feel like we haven't heard a word from him since that.
Because he's not that good on Zarya.
He's really not.
And I know there's probably stats with the amount of damage that he does, but fuck, they're the only damage dealer in a GOATS comp.
Right, so of course his damage is going to be high, but is it going to be comparable to what other people are doing? And at the same point, it's more than just damage with Zarya.
Yeah, it's bubble management.
It's bubble management, exactly. Alt management, all of that, and he's been trash at all of it.
Well, and also, and I'm going to throw this in there, I think both of their DPS are sort of soft throwing. I don't think EQO likes playing Brig. He's not that fucking good on Brig. And it's a mental thing with that. It's, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that's kind of where he's at, because there was points where he looked really good on Brig.
He's not terrible, but the other night he was awful.
The last couple of games, and this game especially, like, he just did not, like, they all looked completely disinterested.
Yeah, and the thing is Sato is bad, but there's other components like Trench brought up there, like with Carpe and Zarya, and I just think their whole team is kind of like they're in that like fuck it kind of mode. I don't feel it, and like Zoe said it, she's like on the broadcast, like the post game, she was like they were like screaming about how great the Spark were, and she was kind of like, well, were they that good, or was Philadelphia that bad? It didn't feel like they wanted to be there,
right?
And that's bad. That's almost worse than getting steamrolled and trying.
If they keep doing that, they're going to fall out of the playoffs, and they're going to fall behind very quickly, because they're sitting at 9 right now, but Shanghai is dead even with them.
And Shanghai's better right now.
Shanghai is better.
Shanghai would murder
You've got Atlanta creeping up the standings. You've got
Atlanta
Paris can make a good run.
Yeah.
If Boston gets their shit together,
I would put them with Boston and Toronto and in that group of what the fuck is going on teams.
Yes.
Right now.
Absolutely.
Because you know what, honestly, and one last point on Philadelphia, I think the one thing that I think they were hoping for the change, the 2-2-2 lock or something like that everyone was talking about was going to happen.
And they were practicing that, and then
I don't even know if they were practicing it. I think mentally,
they were just more prepared for that. And then when it didn't come,
it was like it was like, waking up and there's no presents under the tree at Christmas. If you're fucked.
Kinda.
And it was kind of like, fuck, we got to play this shit again, and I don't want to play it, and we suck at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might be time to start figuring some things out with that team. They need to start. I don't know, but change it
They're
like
gonna have to start making some changes.
but
sure.
making
Even
changes when you're playing this 3-3 thing and you need all that coordination, you're gonna be bound to lose a bunch of games, and that's can you do that?
Exactly.
But if you're gonna lose anyway, and eventually win, you might want to do it. Maybe that's what Toronto was thinking.
The sooner you do it, the better.
Yeah.
Because by the end of stage 3, it's going to be too late.
Yeah. Especially, well, I mean, they were high enough where they could kind of, like, afford a little leeway. But at this point, they might not be.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the other team that disappointed us, and that is Boston.
Boston was really a shit show.
Any player in particular that I thought did bad. It was just a overall poor performance by everybody.
Yeah, their alt economy was kind of meh. Like they were just like never. I was watching them today, and it was like there was never like we talk about this a lot. There was never a point where I was like, okay, they have a chance of winning this. I was like, there no way. I think Dallas is better than them anyway, but or Dallas anyway. I
do think Paris. I mean, they look terrible against Paris, and they look terrible against London. And I think right now both of those teams are better than them.
I meant London,
even though London got crushed by the XL today. But
didn't that happen all last year though? Too?
It did. It really did.
How many times did the XL 4-0 them last year?
Right.
They beat the crap out of them. It felt like they beat the crap out of them at least 3 or 4 times. I meant. I said Dallas. I meant New York or London. But I don't know what to think of this team because we were saying they always adapt, but are they? Yeah,
right now they are not, and like they seem to be getting worse ever since they picked up RCK, and I don't think that's anything against RCK. I think it's more the fact that Note was like the glue of this team.
Oh yeah,
losing him I think is just having really bad repercussions for this team, and they just look lost.
Yeah, and and all of a sudden RCK can't play Sombra anymore. What the fuck happened with that? He looked terrible, or mediocre at best. I don't know. It just
top to bottom, they're just like
mediocre.
Eugen's looked okay, but he was probably the best looking player on that team, and it just wasn't nearly enough.
Yeah.
Color Hex had some horrible Zarya play. Just overall, this team is just, I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, they're stuck in that middle weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Note is killing it in Dallas, for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, they got smashed earlier in the week, but they look good today. Dallas. I'm high on them, so I'm all behind Dallas right now.
See, I think Boston is mediocre, but like they're a team that has the potential, and we've seen when we think that they're going to be mediocre or either really bad or really good, like they basically do the opposite.
Yeah.
Like when we think they're going to be terrible, they have what they did in stage 3 last year.
Yeah, exactly.
We thought they were going to be awful after all of that, and they just came out and killed it. And we thought they were going to be terrible to start the season, and they looked really good in stage 1, and then in stage 2 they looked good to start. Then, and like it looked like a good trade for both teams of trading Note and RCK.
It's kind of looking one-sided right now.
Yeah, now it looks really one-sided because RCK is just not. He's not the same caliber of player that Note is. Yeah,
RCK is decent. He's not on. He's kind of like in that mediocre range. He's not going to lose you games. He's not going to win you games. Note it will win you games.
Exactly. It's like trading. It's like trading freaking Russell Westbrook for like Iman Shumpert, like in his prime or something. Like
Iman Shumpert. Did you just phrase Iman Shumpert in his prime?
Yeah.
Did he have a prime?
He's far past. Or Iman Shumpert living up to his expectations. Maybe that.
Like when he had the high fade in Miami.
Yeah. Pretty much. Like,
Oh.
it's like, okay, he's a nice player, but that was your guy that was carrying your team, and he's gone. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I think another big thing, talking about one last thing in Boston, it was the Gamsu thing. Fusions is good. Gamsu's a leader.
Yeah.
And he's a shot
Fusions
caller. I mean,
doing-
Fusions is
Fusions
good.
is doing a good
He's probably the
job
best
of-
player on that team and doing the most work on that team.
Yes.
But people are focusing him because they know the rest of the team's kind of meh.
Right.
And to shut down the shot calling, just kill fucking Fusions first.
Right. Otherwise, he's just looking at the back end of the map
Yeah.
or a kill screen. Like,
Yeah, he's
Not gonna do anything there.
watching his kill feed instead of, shot calling. Whatever
Right.
he's doing. Yeah, and as much as we like their trades to be decent, they don't seem to have worked out.
yeah, it kind of feels like they've gone we can build a team and be consistently good no matter who's
It's the
on the
system.
team.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the system. It's like, oh, is it?
Is
well,
it?
when
Yeah.
your system doesn't have any actual talent in it,
Just
that's
because you
kind of
won
the
with
problem.
just because you won with mistakes last year doesn't mean you're gonna win
Right.
like that this year.
Exactly.
Let's just be honest.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on to our last team that was a dud for the weekend, and that is Chengdu.
Well,
Uh,
Tebow.
yeah.
Tebow. Sorry. Yeah.
it's so true though. Like,
Well-
they still, even when they're garbage and losing, like, they're
And
still
people are going
really
to start
fun
making
watch.
excuses for him, right? Is that going to be a thing now?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Just
they
checking.
just
They look
like,
terrible.
anytime- yeah, they looked horrible, and there was times where, like, okay, they made a good push or whatever, but with the way that their comp is set up, like, okay, you won the team fight, but then the other team got a few people back, they got a couple picks, and all of a sudden that team fight that you just won is meaningless because you never actually captured anything.
Yeah. The only thing that looked good for Chengdu this week was Ameng in the fucking opening video with him doing the kickboxing where he looked like he can actually murder somebody. And I'm not joking.
Yes. I
But-
agree.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
this team just overall is just not.
they are what we thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's fun to watch. I'm never going to deny it's fun to watch Wrecking Ball and Farah and all the shit and all the cool stuff and all the fun. But end of the day, you're not even beating Guangzhou now.
Yeah.
But the problem is when they play a team like Guangzhou that can match up against them, they did beat them once earlier. I will give them that. The Chengdu.
Mm-hmm.
But
But now I think
Yeah,
everyone
until
has kind
slap
of figured
fighting
out
was
their
good.
thing.
what's that?
Everyone has really figured out what they do.
Well, you have enough tape
And-
on them, and you know where they're going, and you know what they're doing.
Exactly. And you know how to counter, like, if once you can counter that, it's over.
Yeah, and I don't know how the new tank that swam in from or whatever they keep showing him swimming. I did I miss something? Did somebody swim from China to Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Anyway, well, the new tank. I don't know what his specialty is. I guess I don't know if he's a good Reinhardt, but it's a-
Yakirin.
yeah.
Yakirin? Yakin Hagar? What?
Sammy Hagar?
Is he a is he a faceless man?
He's a faceless man. What does one say to the
Yak-
god of death? Wrecking
today,
Ball.
Apparently. Wrecking Ball. Today is the day I die.
No, in Overwatch, what does one say to the god of death? Fuck it, I'm playing Hanzo.
Pretty much. Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
Like, this team just looks completely discombobulated, and they just...
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you think that they have some kind of momentum going, they just fall apart and just get rolled.
Yeah, and the problem is they're getting rolled. And it has nothing to do with the comp. It's just, you're on a pro level. After a few matches where people are seeing what they're doing, they're kind of like, all right, so when they start doing this, we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, they never, I mean, yeah, they gave, I think they kind of freaked out Vancouver
Yeah.
a little bit. Jamiroquai. Can he do that backward slide thing though? Dude needs he needs one of those big fucking goofy hats. Like whatever that tall hat thing that Jamiroquai fucking had.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that was the only map that they won against Guangzhou was when he was in. But
yeah.
Even then, it was still just they looked horrible. Like it took every inch to get there.
Yeah, but the problem is once they get figured out, it's not that their players are bad. It's you're on a pro level. They're gonna fucking beat it.
Yeah,
and
they're gonna do everything in their power to just hammer on those weaknesses.
And you're gonna fuck up the Mayhem in Houston and the Valiant in Washington. You're gonna screw with those teams, or teams
definitely
like
not the Valiant anymore.
Well, yeah,
or the Charge, because they just got rolled by both of those teams. So it's just like, what happens when they start playing top tier competition?
Okay, never mind.
It's going to be uglier.
You know what? Teams that they'll give fits to would be teams like Toronto.
Yeah.
That don't have a vibe of where they're going, and they're or Boston. They'll beat Boston, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll give those teams trouble now, and the Mayhem.
But the teams that they're really gonna have an effect on anymore are getting fewer and fewer.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that comp. I like watching it. I like playing in it. I think it's fun. But end of the day, they're not going to beat anyone.
No.
But not for anything worthwhile.
Not anything worthwhile, exactly. Like, yeah, and they somehow looked even worse against the Valiant, and like Kareev and Fact Fiction just rolled over them.
Yeah. Well, Kareev being able to do the support thing and flex onto DPS when necessary is the best thing they could have done. And we kind of said that in the beginning. I'm like, I like Kareev on that support role because he can go into other things.
Right.
Izyaki's a better fragger. He's a dive Zen, essentially.
If Izzyaki had been playing during dive last year, we would have done nothing but talking about him.
Oh, yeah.
But for what this team needs right now in this meta, Kareev is just the better fit.
Yeah. But yeah, Chengdu was just...
Yeah.
It's... To quote Denny Green, they are what we thought they were. Bears fans know that one.
Yep.
It was the Bears that they were playing that game. I won that bet, though. I snuck that one in. Sorry.
Oh, God.
Denny Green was always good for that was when he was with the Cardinals. I think he quit like 2 weeks after that.
Probably. that would seem about right.
Yeah, well, I would have too at that point with the Cardinals.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, but I think that's where we're at on Chengdu.
Yeah.
But we had a couple of like honorable mention. Well, at least one honorable mention. Good team for me. It was the Spark.
Yes.
The Spark looked fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, they looked really good.
I kind of like had no faith in them in the beginning. I said they were kind of one of my disappointing teams in the first half of the season, which they still were. I'm going to stand by that.
As much as Philly played horribly, the Spark played really, really well.
Yeah.
So it's hard to judge how that game is and like where it is on that. I think it'll be more telling, but just based on what the Spark have done in their last couple of games of Stage 2, I think they're just carrying that momentum, and I think they're gonna be right up there.
Yeah, and I think Gamsu is becoming more and more one of my favorite players. Or Gamsu, Gushue.
Oh, Gushue, for sure.
Here we go with the names with me. I haven't had that much beer, for crying out loud. It must have been the sun. I was out in the sun this afternoon. It must have fried my brain. We don't get sunshine in Cleveland, so...
I feel, yeah.
Yeah.
Did the same thing yesterday. I think the other thing that has really helped this team, and even though he didn't play in everything, or in every map, Crystal still is huge. Dora played really well in the time that Crystal wasn't in there, though.
Yeah.
Actually, Crystal didn't play at all.
No, but they look good. And yes, if it gets down to a Winston Goats meta, nobody's going to beat... The only Winston that might be better, but he's so rusty now, probably would be Gesture.
Yeah.
But I right now I might take Gouchway over him.
Yeah, with the way that London has been looking, it's hard to tell.
Well, and
how
also
that team is going to be.
His Reinhardt's been better too. Gouchway.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looked
I
good
think
just
overall
across the board.
Gouchway's looked really good.
I might have to get me one of them hot ass Spark jerseys, man. The new ones.
Yeah, maybe. I was thinking if I was going to buy any of them, that might be one of them.
I still want a custom Mayhem jersey, the new ones. They need to do that.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to buy a fucking Chris jersey.
One team I will say looked pretty decent this week is
nice transition there.
I will say that Seoul was the other team.
Yeah, Seoul looked good.
That it looked really good.
They're doing the duality.
They're doing like the split roster thing, yeah. But hey, whatever, it worked. It was against two of the worst teams in the league, but
yeah, exactly.
Good job, Seoul.
It worked.
Carry on.
Yeah, I mean, they look good though across the board. They're beating the teams that they should beat, I guess.
Yeah, that's positive.
Yeah.
Until they start beating the teams that they need to beat.
Yeah.
I will forever be hesitant with this team.
We really need to take a look at the schedule, and see some of these teams that are up there, because there are teams like Atlanta. They kind of ran their gauntlet of the really hard teams.
Yeah,
because they played Vancouver and San Francisco. Didn't they play the Gladiators last stage?
Yeah, they played the Gladiators. They played New York twice. Like, they've played some really rough teams.
Yeah, but I think we need to take a look. We'll take a look. We'll dive into that and find out more. See where some of these. Yeah, definitely, because there's some teams I feel like they've played all of the hard teams. He could, but they could release him by then. You never know.
Yeah.
Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility.
I mean,
who knows? Well, with the whole dual team, you don't know. Are they going to go basically London last year, where it's okay, we're going to figure out which of these teams we like better, and whichever one does it, the whole team's gone.
Well, it worked for London at first because they were doing that when they had all the 2-game things. They were doing the one squad on the one game and the one squad on the other.
Yeah.
But then they started mishmashing people in and out, and then they were doing, well, Prophet's going to play all the time.
Yeah. And then we're just going to kind of build around him depending on the opponent or whatever.
Yeah, and that didn't work.
That didn't work.
Seoul seems to be doing that. Is Kai in Seoul now? Oh wait, he's in Paris. How did they get 2 wins in a week and Kai's one of their coaches?
Because he's not the head coach.
It doesn't matter. He's in the building.
Hey, the Bengals used to win when Hugh Jackson was their offensive coordinator. So
yeah, Wade Phillips was a terrible head coach, but he's a genius defensive coordinator, I guess.
Exactly.
We'll just give Kai that. How about that?
Right. That's about the best you can hope for.
You're Wade Phillips. Not as funny, but
yeah. Oh God.
Where did that go to? Kai to Wade Phillips. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a good cue for calling it a night. Yeah, guys, don't forget to check out this on YouTube. It's going to go up tomorrow. Give it a like, a subscribe on there, and then we'll also post the audio up as well on all of our podcast sites.
Okay, Ghost of Icky Woods.
Oh God.
That's from my era. Fucking Icky Shuffle.
Yeah, right.
I bet on the fucking Bengals in that Super Bowl too. God damn it. Fucking dumb. Of course, I didn't think their kick returner was going to get arrested for cocaine in the hotel at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning.
In that era, you should have. Everyone was doing cocaine.
Well, how do you get arrested for it, though? How dumb are you? In Miami or Tampa or somewhere. In fucking Miami.
In Florida doing cocaine and you get arrested?
Yeah, how bad are you at it?
Oh, God.
There were people that had it buried in their front yard, man. You get fucking caught. Oof, that was brutal. Yeah, if you guys want to see something disgusting and kind of old school NFL, just look up Tim Krumrie's broken leg.
Oof.
Did you ever see that?
I believe I have.
Yeah, basically
That's a
he got
rough
hit and his leg went up and someone hit it and it's just his leg flopping around. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that one now. Now that you mention it.
You don't like the Bengals, so it's hard for you to watch it.
I didn't recognize the name, but I, as soon as you described it, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely remembered that one.
Billion people. Yeah, that Theismann was bad. I had that on videotape. The Theismann broken leg.
Of course.
Trenchcoat's bringing up all the fucking good injuries, man. Good injuries.
Right. But of course, after the Alex Smith thing, they're like, "Hey, let's show the Joe Theismann thing because it's pretty much the same." Like, yeah, we'll just keep showing these two horrifying injuries.
The thing with the Theismann one though is his bone came out of the through his sock.
Yeah. That was pretty horrifying.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Although actually the worst one for me was that kid from during the basketball tournament.
Oh, from Duke?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was a rough one. All right. So yeah, check us out this week, guys. We'll be doing some different things. If you we're just going to be kind of changing up how we do all this stuff. So.
Why do we have Flyers and Capitals? I'm sorry, I keep fucking doing Capitals and Flyers fans. I'm a fucking Rangers fan. Can someone from New York come in here, man? The Capitals aren't bad though. I don't hate them as much.
No, I like Ovechkin.
Yeah, he's good. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Yes. So check us out this week, guys. We're going to be kind of switching things up on what we're doing during the week and how we approach our shows. Give us some feedback on what you want to hear and all of that. All of that we appreciate. Check us out on Patreon. Check us out on Twitter. All that good stuff. And we will catch you guys in the next one.
Later.
Later.